is definitely most important, but as a follow-up, just letting them know that you'd really like their input. You know, they might just not even read it all the way to the bottom that asks for that. So
I think like both having like a digital copy and a paper copy, and that like personalization of like saying something to them, but also like maybe like afterwards sending it like as a follow-up, like, did you have any questions, stuff like that. It's a good idea.
and it shows parents that you're paying attention to their child too, like that you really want their input and you want to partner with them, which is why those face-to-face conferences are always so important. Or I always enjoyed that time as a teacher, because you get to have that conversation with a family that you don't get to at drop off and pick up so much. And yeah, that's too bad. But next year, maybe spring, maybe.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah. Did anybody have a hard time finding the words they needed to say anything that wasn't 100% positive, or things that were a little more challenging that you feel like you want to talk about? Y'all look pretty confident in
No, I really feel like after looking at everything in their binders, I feel like it kind of like all made sense of why we do conferences this way, and then you do it through create a curriculum. Like I think like it was really easy to, not easy, but it was easier to make it so positive with my difficult students, to find something that I could say about them.
Now, and Mary Liz, I guess you brought up a good point that we hadn't really talked about, is the portfolios. And typically at a conference, you would let the parents see those, right? Just look through them, not necessarily like keep them or anything. But so how can we invite parents to do that if we're not going to sit down with them? Do they have that option? Or, you know, hey, if you want to see what we've got or what their portfolio looks like, you know, pop in, take a look. Or
I had a parent who, she actually wasn't in my class, she was in T2, so obviously I see her a ton though either way, but she had said something about, I forget how this came up, but I said like, oh yeah, we're keeping track of all that in his portfolio, and she's like, his portfolio, what do you mean, what's that? And she had no idea that that was a thing. So I was like, oh, well, we, you know, do all this documentation and make observations, and we, you know, that's how we do our lesson planning. And I said, anytime that you want, you can feel free to ask his teachers to see that portfolio, and you have, you know, full access to that. And she thought it like that was the coolest thing. She had no idea. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I have to ask to see that. So I think like possibly sending out a message every now and again saying like, hey, we have this portfolio that we do. If you have any questions about your child's development, you know, feel free to ask and we can show you.
you could even put that in like your monthly newsletter or something like that, as a reminder to parents, or an invitation. It's more of an invitation, because we know that you're putting a lot of work into it. So we want parents to see that. And I know that conferences was always a time that we could do that. So yeah. Kristlyn, are you getting any questions from other teachers on this, or Tiffany?
Just clarification on like how to word things. That's why I was just looking at the group that we have here, and this is like the teacher team group. There's nobody that's been asking me the questions on this call, so hopefully I answered their questions enough. But yeah, it was just kind of how to take it from how it's written in the curriculum and put it into terms that aren't going to be seen as either like talking down or over talking to the parents, and having it so it makes sense for them to be able to read.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Some of my questions are from people that aren't on here, but mostly like a clarification of, does this make sense? Like what I'm writing, do you think parents would see that and like feel good about it, or is this kind of negative, and how to turn it around, but not turn it around in a way that would be lying, because we want to tell them the truth, but we just want to make sure we're not, just writing all these negative things. We want to be positive and, really talk about how they're growing in their classroom. So I think we've just gone over how that would look specifically for those kids, and then writing examples. And if I had read something and I wasn't sure what they meant by that, or how could they reword it so a parent knows exactly what they're talking about.
I think one thing that I've learned to do to make it sound more positive, or more so that this is something we're working on, but supporting your child doing, is when I am talking about something, I'll say, Johnny works with support to manage his emotions. He or at the end of it, we support this in the classroom by using social scenarios, reading books about da da da, so that even though it's a negative or something they're working on, not necessarily a negative, but something they're working on, these are the things we're doing to help the learning grow. And I think that makes it sound a little it's hard to make it sound nice sometimes when you're thinking of something that you want them to work on, but saying is working with support just means you're helping,
especially the area, whether it be social emotional, because sometimes that's one area that we all feel kids might need more help in. So how do we word an area that might be not their strongest area? How do we word that as in they're still progressing in that area, even though it might look different than the others? But how do you word it the best for?
One thing that I tend to do in newsletters or in every now and again I'll send a kangaroo time message is just say a general thing that the class is working on, that maybe I might have one specific child in mind when I say, oh, you can help your child with their self-help skills at home because we do this at school and whatever. And so I'll list it as kind of a broad thing that the whole class works on. So in future conferences, hopefully this is not the first time that the parent is hearing that their child needs help with self-help. So maybe I haven't specifically said, oh, so-and-so needs to do this, but they have heard from me before. Oh yeah, I remember you said that in a newsletter that I can do this, that, and the other thing. So I think kind of putting a generalization out there before conferences could kind of soften that blow a little bit, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree, a heads up. I think that's a really good idea.
And what I've been stressing with everybody is the goal of the family conference forum isn't to focus on all of the things that need improvement, because that's usually what conferences had in mind was, okay, tell me what my kid's doing wrong and what I need to do to fix them, where use this as a connecting piece to celebrate all the things they are doing. And like you said, word it in a way where they're close to this, but we're still supporting or we're still encouraging, things like that. And that was one of the things we talked about at our staff meeting was the communication has to happen before this moment in time if there are any concerns, so that when these conference forums come home or when you sit down for conferences and you're talking about all these things that you're working on, it's not a shock to the parents. I didn't have any clue that you were struggling in this area, where the conversations have already been happening. But like I said, trying to change the mentality of the conference forums to be what they can do or what we're working on. I know conferences growing up for me was oh, great conference time. Luckily I was, wonderful and great, but my brother's not so much. But you knew you're going to go and hear all about all the stuff that was going wrong, and just trying to switch it because they're little. I mean, they're doing amazing things, and let's celebrate that.
Yeah, that's why I love creative curriculum and the assessment, because it's not about what they're doing wrong. It's about here they are, and here's where we want to go, and that's why I love the assessment. I think it's not about being negative. It's just about showing where your child is.
That's one of my favorite things to say, is that when they ask oh, is this okay, or is he behind or whatever, there is a wide range of what is considered normal for each and every one of these assessment pieces. And like, that's something that I remind parents of over and over and over again, is like, there's not one path to normal. There's not one way to get to an end goal. There's so many different routes to take and so many different variations of normal that it's not really a thing.
Jason just had a good point. He's listening too. And he just said, he's an ARA employee pretty much, but no, he said,
Volunteer. He's a volunteer. Let's be clear.
yeah, right. He had a good point though, and he reminds me of this a lot. Like sometimes I am like, how does this parent not know? Blah 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 blah. And he's like, Andy, you know that because like this is what you do all day. Like they're a fucking engineer. They don't like know like how they're supposed to throw a ball, like, or something, like, you know, they just don't know that. And he just said, when you have an issue, how do you tell that parent like your child is here, or like how do you show them the average benchmark of where a child should be? So my answer, which I wonder what you guys think of this, is we would share the developmental assessment with them. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point too. If they don't know that that's not normal, how are we like giving that parent the information they need to know the benchmark of generally where their child should be, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, because a lot of times if parents don't have a lot of children either in their family or things like that, they only have like a small group of comparisons that they could make versus what is a typical development. So, I mean, we know, like, we've had children who have started walking at 10 months old, but yet then we have children who are, 13, 14 months who are not walking yet. So neither one of them is necessarily like atypical, because there's that range. But if a parent walks into like our infant 2 classroom and sees a 10-month-old walking and they're like, is my kid behind?
That was me.
I was just going to say that, Mary Liz. You always say that.
That was me.
How do you share that information with families?
I kind of feel like developmental assessments do a good job of showing the range, but I get what he means where like if there is like a point of struggle in somewhere, how can we show them the framework of where they generally should be, but also like maybe help them better that area? Is there a way to share that?
In the past, at my previous job, we worked with creative curriculum more with the goal documentation, but we used the assessment piece with like the color bands and stuff. And so we kind of just explained to them like the color band system and showed them like the red is like typically infants and so on and so forth. But we also explained to them too, like every child develops at their own rate and at their own time. But I think it was just nice for them to be able to see like the ranges in the color bands just to get an idea of kind of what they were supposed to be doing and what they might be doing and what they could be doing next. So we always did that.
So many of the colors
Is there like is there like a general form for that color coding? You know what I mean?
There's instructions on how to read it. And then, but that's a great opportunity for you to invite the parents to look at their child.
Yeah.
Because they should each have one of those in there, right? Like the one that's specific to their child. So
Yeah.
just by seeing the range, they should be able to, you can show like how they overlap each other too. Like the colors, there'll be more than one color that overlaps. So that's a great way to kind of explain it to families, to say like, this is, this could happen anytime between this and still be typical. So that's kind of a great segue into showing them their own child's portfolio. And then if you are making any notes on their portfolio, they'll see that too, or on that developmental continuum. If you're putting dates of milestones that they've reached, or times that you've assessed them that they've shown to be successful, that's a great time to show them that. Because we don't give them a whole copy of that, correct?
No.
I mean, it's a lot of pages.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of information, and if they don't know how to read it, then it doesn't have the same effect.
So I think something else with that, with like those struggle areas, you can also point out that there might be clusters of where they grow, and they might have a strength in one area but be really behind, like, or less in another. That it's not, oh, you're going to develop all of your areas equally. Instead, it's maybe, oh, maybe this one, like, oh, I have a little girl who practically runs in my room right now, but she could work on her social emotional. So it wasn't the, oh, hey, look, you developed all of this at once. Rather, oh, you jumped here, maybe this area.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it also lends itself to a discussion about how you create goals and how you decide which goals you're going to be working on next after they achieve something.
I wonder if we could, like, I know we do conferences, but maybe set out a like kangaroo time every like couple months to say, like, to offer the opportunity to look at developmental developmental assessments and stuff, and talk about, or like have a time to like share those portfolios with the parents and where they're at, like, and it would totally be like what worked for them, if they wanted to, if they had concerns, just so parents were more aware that they have the ability to do those things, where it could just be like, hey, like, happy December. I just wanted to open it up to you guys about these. I don't know, because like sometimes I feel like, Lindsay, you had a good point. Some parents don't know. Like, they might have heard it maybe in the infant room when they were a baby and they forgot, or maybe they just bypassed it and didn't think of it. Maybe like giving parents the opportunity to remember that these are happening. I guess conferences are kind of that, but just I do think it's like cool to show them. And I feel like when parents do ask me, I feel really good about it, because then they're like, I didn't know you did like this so much, you know. When it's a new parent, usually they just don't know.
And that's something that Chrislyn and Tiffany could work together on, putting together like an article for the newsletter, you know, so that they're, you know, they're in agreement on what that looks like. And then preparing everybody beyond just who's here for something like that.
And I think it would make it easier for parents, like if maybe they saw it in that context, like a newsletter or something, they'd be like, oh, I forgot I could do this, or I can do this. Oh, let's check this out and see where they're at. Like, it would be interesting to them.
I think it's pretty cool too, because a lot of the times you hear like, oh, I didn't know you did all this, or oh, I didn't know that was, you know, this was happening. And every time you kind of spark someone like that and kind of show them that we're professionals and that we're educators, that, you know, that's one more person that you show that, hey, we don't just babysit, we actually do stuff. So I think that's a pretty cool way to show, you know, might take a while, one by one, but we'll get there.
I also feel like when they see the forms, like the developmental assessment, all that stuff, like, I mean, those are like proof that we're not just babysitting. Like, the amount of observations we're writing, the tracking we're doing, like the evidence of learning forms, like, they're so important. And I think they like literally track their growth. And I think showing parents that we're doing this is so important, because it adds value to what we are doing every day. You know, they're not just playing a game. There's, you know, when they're doing a puzzle, they're working on spatial awareness. They're learning new shapes. They're like there's just so much more to what we do. And sometimes, like Jason always says to me, they don't know that when you're doing that, like, it really is helping with this, this, and this. And I think showcasing the work that we're putting in and giving that parent the ability to see all the things that their child is able to do and whatever is awesome.
I always think it's funny when a parent says, I had no idea they could do that. I always saw that in the 2-year-old room, like when the kids would put on their own coats and the parents are like, I had no idea they could do that. Or they could, you know, put their own shoes on or something. And that's always fun.
I always laugh during nap time if a parent comes, because they're like, oh, let me help you. And the kid's like, no. Like, I'm doing it myself. I know how to put my bucket away. I know how to put, like, they're like so like independent, because that's how, there's 20 of them. You have to, like, and they're like proud of it. And then the parent will be like, holy cow. And then one parent told me they're like little bees, like in a beehive. Like, they all have their job and they're like doing it. I'm like, yeah, it's self-help skills.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you guys have a good grasp on what needs to happen and different ways to expand on it and reach out to families since we can't be with them face to face. And wasn't this the year, Kristlyn, that we were going to try to make sure we had parent teacher conferences for every age group too? Wasn't fall our goal for that?
What was our goal? That's why everybody's doing the conference forums.
Good, good. Well, hopefully in the spring. Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? Sounds like you guys have a really good grasp of it. Hopefully you'll be able to take this information and share it with your coworkers if they come to you and ask for any help. And I think that Ashley's recording it too, so if anybody wants to look back on it. Any advice, anything else? No?
And this is our teacher talk team right here, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
What about next teacher talk?
Yeah. Well, I know people are always looking for ways throughout the holidays, things they can do for gifts.
That's
That-
really good. Like,
That might be something nice to share like across centers, like because
Yeah.
they can share ideas or activities. I don't know.
I've always done like a book exchange, but I think last year, somebody or 2 years ago, I think it was our junior preschool room, they did a sock exchange. I thought that was really cute.
That is cute.
Uh-huh. So like something different, like you could do like a mitten exchange, or a hat exchange.
Yeah. Or, there's also like obviously in the times that we're living in right now, any issues that can help promote like an awareness of diversity in our classrooms, because I mean, we live in we're in New Berlin and Brookfield, which is not incredibly diverse. It's always around the holidays to talk about like things, the ways people celebrate all around the world, not just in our own little bubble here.
I'm actually doing, this isn't for Christmas, but we're sending it out like this month, a flat Stanley, and I'm so excited because my parents picked places in Germany and Canada, and like it's like literally all over the world, and I'm so excited because we're gonna mail these like little versions of them, and it's like a little person and it has their face on it, and like the parents are like freaking out. They're like, this is so cool, like they're so excited. But I did not think we were gonna get as many like we're like out of the United States. Like a lot of them are like cool places. Like one was like Mexico, one was Germany, one was Texas, Tennessee. We're like all over the place, which is cool. And then like the parents were like, oh my God, my grandma or my aunt is like so excited to do this. And I think that'll be cool. Like just like they spend a week with them, and then they have the option to like email things back or like send things back. And a lot of my families were like, oh my, like his grandma's gonna send you all this stuff from Germany to like show the kids, and like I'm so excited. I think it'll be really cool.
That will be cool. Hi, Madeline.
Yeah, hi, Miss Alex. Look, there's Miss Alex. Did you know she's having a baby? Baby in her belly. Say hi.
But I always love like any kind of activities that help children see beyond their home and beyond, our little space in the world, and, anything that you can do with that.
I know I wanted to send it out before Christmas, like, so I'm trying to send it out now to try and get some different things at least, hopefully.
I think that's a really good topic for a future teacher talk, is like how to bring cultural diversity into the classroom. I know that's one of like the Young Star things, is how diverse are you, making your classroom. So I think that would be a good thing for anybody across both centers to get some ideas before we start, doing formal Young Star stuff, so that we can be ready to go.
It's a great idea.
Another thing is like to talk about different service projects or ways that we can connect with our community as well. So, organizing your class with, you know, some kind of a collection or drive to benefit some organization, or even just to connect by being pen pals or creating, you know, cards or pictures, or you can share with like a, you know, people who can't get out.
Yeah, my grandma works at a nursing home, and I wanted to do pen pals with some of her.
That'd be so cute.
People who actually write instead of like type or email everything.
Yeah, yeah, right, and they do.
I know I told Mary Liz my best friend works at the VA and they're doing like a snowflake project, and I think we're gonna try and have like 4K and preschool and pre-K like cut out like snowflakes for them to hang. Cool.
So even just sharing with other teachers like ideas just to spur some thought on some of those things, and reaching out to the families that maybe in your classrooms to see if they have, you know, somebody they'd like you to look at supporting, or something like that. Those are just some ideas, but off the top of my head. Yeah. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome back. Got all your groceries in now.
I've been here the whole time. You guys are having a great discussion. I just was eating and I didn't want to stuff my face on camera.
For the world to see.
Right.
All right. Cool. Well, I think that was a lot of ideas thrown around. Are you intending to do like another teacher talk in December?
I think that's the plan, is to kind of try one for December, maybe. Probably early-ish December, so we're not too close to the holidays, I feel like.
Lindsay, I like your idea about diversity. Maybe we could do like something like diversity, and then like also like how to involve families in like stuff and that too.
Yeah.
And that aspect of it too.
Definitely.
For one of the webinars that we did, they had, the instructor had, everybody had to bring an idea to the call. That way it wasn't just like one-sided, and it got everybody sort of thinking about different ways that you could do the topic. So that may be something too, as far as getting them like that reflection piece, like what do you have in your classroom now and what would you like to see more of? And that might, again, spark that conversation piece so that it's not just one person trying to lead it or anything.
Wondering how we can get more involvement from others. I mean, this group is awesome, but I think so many people could benefit from hearing all this great news.
I know, I try to tell everybody else to come, but they're like, oh, I'm too busy, or somebody said today
Yeah.
they had school work to do, and I mean, it's
Yeah, I mentioned it to some
an
people
hour
too.
of time. Is it really that hard?
I mentioned it to some people too, and I said, you know, at least come and listen. You don't have to say anything, just to get some ideas. And
We need t-shirts.
Well,
T-shirts.
they are, it's being recorded, so people can go back and look and watch it afterwards, at least.
yeah,
So,
that's true.
maybe it.
I didn't mean what I said then. It is really hard.
No, it is. I mean, it's hard. It's hard, but it's worth it. It's just depending on, maybe it's the topic that they'd be most interested in, and that's where you'll see.
I did have some people say that, you know, they wanted to come, but, you know, they really do conferences because they're like floaters with support staff. So it wasn't
That
like,
I get. That's totally understandable.
That's interesting topic to them, but
Sure. But they got to know that it's while you're all together talking, that not just that specific topic is going to be covered, because kind of go off in the direction of wherever whoever's talking wants to go, right? So it could lead on to something else.
I also feel like with conferences, I'm always looking for something like, especially now that it's not in person, I'm always open to a new idea of a way to like personalize it or to make it like a better experience, because it is really hard for me that it's not in person, because those are where I feel like I have my best like conversations and like connections with families. It's having that like extended period of time instead of just like 5 minutes at pick up or drop off. So I mean, I think you guys all had great ideas and great, like you're all great. And I think I love that you guys care enough to be here and like want to grow from that. You know, I think it's important.
Is there a way to know if people listen to it on the recording?
I'm not sure. You'd have to.
No, there isn't. I know
Oh,
that.
hey, Ashley.
Okay. Sorry, my vacuum sealer's going and grinder and everything, trying to get my deer cleaned up. But I am going to admit that I made a mistake and I did not start recording right away. So I'm really, really sad about that. So there's going to be
But then they're not talking about my boogers, right?
So unfortunately, everybody's not going to be able to get the whole conference talk, but
Missed the beginning shot when we all got shots.
Yeah.
And
the whole party. So, unfortunately, that won't happen, but I'm really bummed about that.
Could we send out like meeting notes or something?
Did anybody take notes? Because I could.
Might need to elect a secretary.
That was Jason's job.
Oh, no kidding. He was listening. What the heck?
Wanted to like put together like notes that even you took, like put those together. I can put them like with the post of the second half of the video since I forgot the first half.
I feel like we should take another picture too. Like, remember when we took that like group picture? I mean, I look really cute right now with my colic, but
Is that a heating pad around your neck, Andrea?
no, it's a vest.
Oh,
Why does it look like a heating pad?
I figured it out after a while, but I was like, does she have a heating pad on?
They would have been like, come on, now we can take a picture.
is that your Cali blues?
My Cali Blues. Remember that, Mara? Well, one day that like I was trying to get away with wearing the sweatshirt like it was a sports team. I was like, it's the Cali Blues. Airy confessional. Like the next day they sent out an email, make sure it's actually a sports team. I'm like, shit.
Oh, we should have an ARA confessional. That would be fun.
Oh, no, you know what I said would be a really fun icebreaker? This is what we need to do. We need to have everybody makes a TikTok of a different employee. And it's like, name that employee. That's the hashtag. Name that employee. And then you have to make a TikTok.
So wrong.
Oh my God, it would be so funny.
Next ARA party, you come dressed as somebody else.
Yes, yes. I think that would be so funny.
Prize to the one who has the most correct guesses.
You're right.
Yeah. Is anybody doing anything like around the holidays, like a Secret Santa thing or anything like that? Do you know?
Amanda expressed an interest in doing it at New Berlin, but I haven't heard much from her recently.
We should do that on that field. We usually do that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be fun.
Interesting.
Carrie told me she wanted to be in charge of that. I told her to go talk to you, Carolyn or Tiffany. Did she ever come talk to you?
I haven't heard anything, but I was going to mention that today to Carolyn amongst everybody else we were doing today, but
She also told me she wanted to
Kinda.
do like a food drive too.
Yeah, she told me that.
Oh yeah, I told her to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
She came in the room one day with all these ideas, and I was like, "Go talk to somebody." Talk to the wrong person.
She's talking to you, Mary Liz.
I
Write
know.
it down or it does not exist. Yeah. Well, I know that for the New Berlin staff meeting, Ashley, have you told what they're doing yet?
Yeah. Yep, we're going to make, so we have, it's called Caring Alternatives in Muskego, and it is like a senior living home. And the activity director at Caring Alternatives was a previous ARA parent. So in the past, she has actually organized some events where she'll have like some type of like fun kids show or something entertaining. Like I think one year was like Amazing Animals that will come to the senior home, and then our 4-year-old group or our school age group went to the senior home and like watched the show kind of with the seniors. So it's kind of like a intergenerational type of thing. And we obviously didn't get to do any of that this year. So I just kind of reached out and said, is there anything that, you know, we can do for you guys, you know, to still kind of keep that connection going. So they asked if we could make like lap blankets for like the seniors, like when they're in their wheelchair or they're sitting on like their chair or something, just like a blanket. They can just for the winter. A little something. So we're doing that for our December meeting. That'll be fun.
And you have parents donating the fabric or some of it?
Yeah. Well, hopefully. I mean, nobody's brought in any fabric yet, but we have gotten a lot of scissor donations. And we actually, we had one parent bring in like a blanket that they made. So we offered it to families if they want to make a blanket at home, like just parents and kids together, and then bring in the blanket. We'll donate that blanket. So we had one family that brought in a blanket already, like the day after I sent the info.
That's awesome.
It's a really pretty blanket. I was like, ooh, that's nice.
I'll take that for myself.
Right?
I'll
Let's
donate
say
it to my grandma. My grandma.
Last time we did that at the staff meeting though, and then we ended up donating them to Jeremiah. But that was, I thought, a great activity at the staff meeting. It got, you know, it's like everybody got together to work on it together. And
it's still kind of COVID friendly too, though, because everybody can separate and you can just work with, you know, like near one other person or something so that you're still separated, but still kind of connecting.
That would be
you
fun.
need big
Like
space. You need a big
everybody had
It's really
Okay,
hard
yeah,
to
work
think
it
of
out.
COVID friendly.
good
stuff.
time, like, yeah.
Cool. And so we're doing a Zoom meeting for the staff meeting in Brookfield, right?
Yep, tomorrow. We're downloading an app. What is that app called?
Kahoot.
Kahoot.
Kahoot. Should be fun. Cool. Well, it's been an hour, so
I just wanted to say really quick that even though I wasn't really here with you guys, I was still listening, and in between my grinder and things, I heard a lot of the things you guys said, and there was some really awesome stuff. And I was sitting there and I was like, ooh, that was a good one, Andrea. Or, oh yeah, Lindsay. Like I was in the moment, like still hearing it all. So I'm really happy that, you know, you guys were able to share and that you guys all joined us, and it's pretty awesome.
I think it was good discussion.
indeed. I think there's only so much you can really say about conferences because I think everybody kind of has their own way to do things. So I think what we hear is like if you have a question about it, make sure that you go and talk to somebody about it because somebody probably has a question. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. It's a really important connection piece for parents, especially when we can't all be together. So. So,
Take a picture.
Sure, we can take a picture. Here, let me get ready.
tell the children to smile.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Look at that cheese on those two. Great, Tegan's there. Oh my gosh, look at all the children. So cool.
Aw. I miss you, Arlo.
She's like, what is going on here?
I know.
Hi, Tegan.
Hi, Miss Tegan. We miss you.
Oh, and there's Madeline.
Lindsay, are you hiding in your closet? Okay.
Her office.
Yeah, fully. It is my closet, but it's very large and I have a whole vanity that you're sitting on. So
Fun. Cool. Well, did you want to pick a date for the next one, or do you want to talk about that via email?
Is there like a day of the week that works better for everyone?
So the second Tuesday is always our staff meeting.
And the second Thursday is Brookfield's staff meeting.
Can we talk about like Wednesdays before? I feel like.
I could do a Wednesday because me and Tiffany have class usually Tuesdays,
Yeah.
and I have a class Monday.
So it looks like Wednesday or Friday, and nobody's going to join on Friday for sure. So Wednesday seems like.
I would. I have nothing going on.
So like the third Wednesday or the second? Well, the second would make it the same as the staff meeting week.
Right.
It would be too much. So
Yeah.
it would have to probably be the first or the third, I would say. And if you kept it the same, like tried to keep it the same night every month, maybe people can plan ahead for it, or if that works, or.
Maybe if we third week, people might think, oh, I just did a staff meeting. But if we're doing it the first week, it's been a while since the staff meeting, and they have to come to the staff meeting anyways. So it might be just a little bit more of a, I can do it type of thing.
I was trying to think of a way to convince people to come. Like, what if we did like a theme, like a fiesta theme? Everybody wears a color and we eat tacos, or like, I don't know, like something like stupid because people love themes. Like everybody wears red, and like, I don't know, like I think sometimes when you add something like silly like that, like it might be more fun to go. I don't know.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I was telling Jason, I want people to feel like excited to go, but maybe they need like something instead of me saying it. Like, you know what I mean? Something else.
Well, what about something, like if you did it the week before the staff meeting, then anybody who attended could maybe go into like a drawing at the staff meeting, like for a prize or something, and then at the staff meeting you draw for it.
Yep. We can do both of those.
Jason just said, good idea.
Everyone loves a good prize.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Or and then like the next one that we're gonna have could be like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of what people would like care about. Like, that's a good idea though. I like that.
So if we're doing one, well, the first, maybe we'd have to do like the third for December, because otherwise it's going to be like next week.
Well, I think that's too late for December because of the holidays.
Well, I was going to say we could do like a Christmas theme one where we all wear.
I know. That
Well-
could go with the raffle theme too, because it's
Third-
Christmas.
The third Wednesday in December is the 16th. So it's not
I could, yeah.
too close, but it is the week before.
Well, we could. Well, yeah, that might be a little, I don't know. Depending on the topic, I guess. But
I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. I would be fine doing it the second, though. I don't know if you guys think that that's too soon.
same week
Well,
as,
that's, yeah.
so we don't want it to be the same week as the staff meeting because it might just be too much for some.
Our staff meeting's tomorrow.
No, I think she meant the December 2nd.
December 2nd, not the second Wednesday, December 2nd.
Well,
Okay, I see.
depending on the topic, I think we could get it together by the 2nd.
I think you could get it together by the 2nd if you're talking about something that's for December. Like I said, like if you're talking about, you know, different ideas for parent gifts or staff gifts or service projects, or I don't know, something like, I feel like you could get it going.
We could just theme it like holidays, and then everybody dress up in their Christmas spirit, and then you just talk about all things holidays. So like
Yeah.
family involvement in the holidays, parent gifts in the holidays,
Yes, yeah.
how to manage everybody going on vacation for 2 weeks and then coming back. All great topics. Are we good with
Down
that?
to holiday stress and what's the best cocktail. I mean,
I'm down with that, Zoom.
Could ask everybody to bring a holiday drink, holiday drink recipe, and then
Oh, yeah.
afterwards we could compile them all together and make a little recipe book.
Staff cocktail books.
ARA bartender's friend. Holiday
We
edition.
could play a drinking game. This was Adrian's idea. Every time somebody says the word like, we have to drink. Do you know how we
Okay, like Adrian, like calm down.
He plays with us.
will you play with us? Yeah, work.
He's like, I'll be drunk.
Funny.
We'd have to do that on a Friday night, I'm thinking.
Not a Wednesday.
Well, I can get the invite sent out like tomorrow.
Like,
Like, let's do it.
Does Wednesday nights work for everybody here?
Yeah.
Because obviously this.
yeah.
I'll type it on up. Make sure you send me some more ideas tonight or tomorrow morning sometime that you want me to add into the invite to make it extra exciting, but I'll try and be as exciting as I can.
Next time I'll take.
You're always exciting, Ashley.
Yeah. Next time I'll try and take notes, because I think what would be cool too is when we invite them to the next one, we could like have like a little like bullet point. I'll make Jason write it because I don't write bullet points of like something cool we talked about or something that like kind of like notes.
Like this, what you missed last time.
Yeah.
You should make sure you're here to everyone.
Yeah. And the Christmas one will be like everybody took 32 shots because we all said like.
In the last 5 minutes.
Played that game, nobody wouldn't be able to drive.
Oh, look at Madeline's.
We're all at home. He said nobody would be able to drive home. I'm like, we'll all be at home.
That's why we're zooming.
Oh, funny. All right. Good ideas. Good times.
Bye, Madeline.
She's saying, okay, that's enough. It's my bedtime.
I bet she's on mute. It's stop picking. Alex, today she came home and she started picking her nose. Like finger all the way up her nose. Look at her.
Gosh, I don't know where
And I'm like, where did you learn that?
Adrian said she's doing her own COVID check.
She's pointing. Alex must have showed her how to do that. That's
Peyton picks her nose all the time.
Does she? Was she there today?
Is it age appropriate, Alex?
She just started doing that.
I wonder if she just discovered
Can
that.
you show them their developmental assessment forms?
Does that mean she's advanced because she knows her noses?
I'll make sure to add that on her conference form. That's a
Pick
strength
knows
of-
well.
Knows
Lincoln
the
trying to get
nose.
in the picture, Megan? He's just jumping up. Is Lincoln trying to get in the picture? He's like, show me.
Listen to this crazy.
Oh, jumping.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. How old is he?
3.
Oh, cute.
Boy. Send help.
Yeah, he doesn't
Madeline thinks he's
ready
hilarious.
for
He's
bed.
laughing.
Hey, shh, Madeline.
Bye.
Hi, Taylor.
Madeline.
Poop and pee. Oh, okay.
Oh. Alrighty. Anybody else have anything you want to talk about? I think we went over this time. That means you had a lot of good things to say, right?
Fun time, not work time.
Socialization and other people over the age of 2 who say
Christy's working in the little room with 4 infants by herself.
Aw.
That's why she likes the adult conversation.
Bathroom now.
Gosh, they're in the bathroom. They're literally in the bathroom.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you again so much. It was nice to see y'all.
See you next time.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye. See ya. You see it? Go to bed.
There she goes.
There she goes. Yeah, bye.
Bye, Madeline.
Bye. Say bye, honey.
Bye.
Say bye. Can you say bye-bye?
Gaga.
Okay.
Oh.
See you guys.
Gaga.
Bye.
Gaga.
Bye.
Bye.